Okay, let's dive into a linguistic puzzle that connects the Korean and Japanese languages in a way you might never have expected. We're going to unravel a little mystery that's been hiding in plain sight, all wrapped up in a single, really versatile word. So, this is the central question for us today. In Japanese, the word tatsu has just one pronunciation, but it can mean four totally different things. I mean, how is that even possible? It sounds like a riddle, right? But the answer is actually surprisingly logical once you find the key. And just look at this. Here are the four culprits. You've got tatsu for departing, tatsu for standing, tatsu for being built, and tatsu for cutting. It just seems impossible that they could all share one sound. But here's the twist. The key to solving this puzzle isn't found in Japan. It's across the sea. The answer, believe it or not, lies in this single ancient Korean word, dida. Now, I want you to think of dida as the seed. It's a word that contains this core energy, this idea of rising up, separating from a surface, and emerging. As we're about to see, this one little seed grows into all four branches of the Japanese word tatsu. So let's explore that first connection, which is probably the most intuitive one. This is branch one, the great departure, all about the idea of leaving a place. In both languages, the basic idea is exactly the same. When you say you leave Seoul in Korean, you use Tteuda. And that lines up perfectly with the Japanese tatsu for departing from, say, Edo. The core concept is about lifting yourself up and away from a location. And it even goes deeper into metaphor. It works for life's final departure too, literally leaving the world. You know, that idea of lifting away from a specific spot, it kind of leads us perfectly into our second branch, the simple physical act of rising up. Now, this is where it gets really cool, because this principle of rising just applies to, well, everything. In Korean, goosebumps, sotira, they rise on your skin. In Japanese, they tatsu, they stand up. Same logic for steam rising. But what's really amazing is how it works for abstract ideas. A rumor doesn't just appear out of thin air. In both languages, it rises into public awareness. And this points to a super fascinating concept called phonosemantics. The whole idea is that the sound of a word can actually carry meaning itself. That strong, kind of explosive t sound in Korean, it really embodies a physical energy, a feeling of surging and expanding. It just sounds like the act of standing up. Okay, so if Tteuda means to rise up, how on earth does that connect to something like construction, to building something? Well, that's branch 3. The logic here is actually pretty beautiful. If you think about it from an ancient perspective, what is construction? It's literally the act of making a structure float or rise up from the ground. You are fundamentally taking a flat plane and making something rise out of it. And this slide makes that connection totally clear. A house, tatsu in Japanese, it is bit, but the root idea is that it rises from the land. And just like we saw with rumors, this applies to abstract ideas too. When a plan tatsu, or is made, it's like an idea is being constructed, rising up from an abstract thought into a solid form. All right, now for the last branch, and this one is probably the most surprising. How do you get from the idea of rising up to the sharp, decisive act of cutting something like cloth or fish? Here's the aha moment. Cutting is, at its core, an act of separation. In Korean, when you trace a clothing pattern, you tteuda. You are lifting its shape away from the whole piece of cloth. When you slice raw fish, you tteuda the flesh. You're lifting it away from the bone. And that very action of lifting away, of separating, became the Japanese tatsu for cutting and tailoring. So let's bring it all back together now. Let's look at the complete picture of how this single root word really just blossomed into 4 completely distinct meanings. Yeah, this chart really says it all. Right there in the center, you have the core energy of that Korean word, tteuda, rising and separating. That one powerful concept didn't really change when it crossed into Japan. Instead, it was just assigned to 4 different written characters, the kanji, to give it a specific meaning in a specific context. So departure, standing, building, cutting, they're really all just different facets of tteuda. And this isn't just some fun coincidence. It actually follows a really predictable linguistic path. First, you have that core energy in the TT sound. Second, that sound consistently shifted to ta in Japanese. That's a known principle. And third, that single broad Korean concept was split across multiple written characters in Japan. You can see it's a clear evolution. And this all leads to a pretty powerful conclusion. all four of these branches of Tatsu seem to trace right back to that one single Korean root. It's a fascinating theory, isn't it? And it really makes you wonder, if this one connection is so deep and complex, what other secrets are just sitting out there, waiting to be discovered, hidden in the everyday words we all use?